Hey y'all, I'm Lachlan, and in today's video, it is finally time for my island tour of Solime. I hope y'all are ready, but very quickly, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you enjoy my content and don't want to miss out anytime that I post. Make sure to ring that bell, but I do not have a map for my island this time around. I didn't get one commissioned. I didn't make one myself. I just was ready to be through with the island, and I am so thrilled with how it turned out, and I hope y'all are too. But here is a quick little passport that I made for my island, and the dream address is right there for you, so you can tour along with me. But let's get right onto Solime, and I will show you my entire island. And I'm calling this a coastal Scottish inspired themed island. I might shorten that here in the thumbnail and the title, but let's get right into it. So here we are at the entrance, and unfortunately I don't have a special flag or anything this time around as well. This is basically just a blanket code, but like I had mentioned, this is a Scotland inspired themed island, but also it is coastal as well. It is set in mid-September, so the grass isn't too green, but I guess it's technically a fall island too, but less orange and red tones. So let's get right into it. And we will start with the entrance and cue the butterfly, thank you, and all of the cute little ducklings and everything here. But this is the entrance, one of my first speed builds on my island. I will include a playlist down below if you want to check that out, but here's the entrance. Nothing special, it's a very natural island, but here is my map of Solime, and I have Biff, Audie, Tabby, Gaston, Pashmina, Benjamin, Dina, Henry, Timbra, and Frank, and there is the dream address there as well if you would like to look. But the left side of the island is mainly the natural sides, and as you can see down below where all of the in-game pathing is, that's where the coastal town is. So we shall get right into it. Now, something I wanted very early on in the build was a very nice overlook, and I don't think about overlooks very much when I am designing my islands, but this was an overlook I had thought in my head, and here's a few reference photos as well, so you can kind of get an idea as to my thoughts about this island and what I planned for it. But one of those pictures you can see is kind of what I based this lookout over as well. But you can see into the town below, up here on a hill, on a bench, and super happy with how this turned out. And I will go through the natural side of the island first, and then I will go to the town. Here's a nice little picnic spot. Like I mentioned, if you are curious about any of the speed builds, go check out that playlist down below. Now, my beaches are pretty bare, but more natural looking and very realistic to what a coastal island or a coastal town would look like. But this area here is just all the flowers that I used on the island essentially, and I kept all of the colors of flowers and items with green, orange, and yellow throughout the entire island, so everything looks cohesive. Here is my house that is on the beach. I will show that here in just a moment, but I do want to show the beaches first. Even though this island is done, I am gonna let it live for a little longer because it did take some time to do it. This is actually, it only took me 4 months in comparison to the last island I did, but it still took some time. And so I plan to do events and things just in my off time on this island still. And so because of that reason, I wanted to make sure I had all the fruit trees and all of the crops. So there's the pumpkin patch back there, and here is my little orchard with all of the fruit trees that you can get in game, and then the rest of the crops are back here. But it all links together quite smoothly, I would say. Had to give Cap'n a little bit of a pier here, and if you want to go fishing, there is a fishing rod right here for you. Place to lounge, there is technically my boat for the island. And then these sheds kind of act as like coastal sheds. You probably saw it in one of the inspo pictures, but if you see those, that's kind of what they represent. And I'll show you this beach up here. Like I said, everything was just kind of done more naturally, less item heavy, and just a few things here and there. And what I had previously mentioned, this is set in fall technically, so there are quite a few pumpkins. Now I will head back to my house and I will show you the interior, and then we'll move on towards other things on the island. Now I don't want to spend too much time on the interiors, but here is the main room and one of the first rooms I did in my house. It's basically been like this the entire time, but this is where most of the living happens. I've got a kitchen here. I'm ready for Turkey Day when it comes up. I've got a nice little lounge area. I can do some ironing, but let's go into the back room. Now the back room is my bathroom, and as you can tell, there is a little gyroid here, so let's not spend too much time. But just like I did across the island, all of the rooms inside of my house and inside of the villager homes stay within that green, orange, and yellow tone as well. So this is like an orange bathroom. And in the right room is basically just a storage room slash sewing room. I guess it's more of a hobby type of room, but that's all we got going on over here. And then the left room is basically just like a little party room. And I really liked this room when it was Halloween time, just because it kind of has the spooky vibes a bit with the green and then the bunting over there. But here is this room, and let's head upstairs. All right, upstairs is my main room. It's got my bed, it's got a place to get dressed over here and listen to music. I don't have a TV, and I thought about putting one on the wall, but I didn't really have one, and I didn't feel like ordering one, so my character will just have to not watch TV anywhere in the house, I believe, because downstairs I just have a fireplace. But here is this room, and then there's a little hobby area here where I can do my crafting and things. But let's go downstairs to the last room. And then the final room is in my basement, and it's basically just like a movie theater. You got all the candles in the back wall kind of lighting up the space, and they're apparently watching a football game right now. It's the movie theater, so go Liverpool. Let's watch them play on the big TV, shall we? Alright, so that was my house, and we saw everything that you can see on the beaches on this side, so let's move up again and we'll move on. And let's head on more to the left. Like I said, everything is more natural and kept everything within the color theme as well. Tried to do more waterfalls on this island too, because I don't tend to waterscape very much. So try to do that and add more bridges than I used to do on islands as well. Here is an area that I do have in a speed build. It is one of the early ones, so go check that playlist down below. Another place to sit and hang out. And I use the bikes throughout the entire island too. And very on theme, pumpkins, seating spot, gyroid, and then some ducks back here. Here is a sunken waterfall, one of the few that I have on the island. Another thing I don't tend to do, like I said, is waterscape. So I tried to challenge myself here and do a kind of a double tier sunken area, specifically of just water. So another place to sit and have some cookies and some orange juice. Now you could go over that bridge, but let me quickly show you, and hello Pashmina. Let me show you the other sunken waterfall I have, and hopefully I can do this without, yes, perfect. And here is the other sunken waterfall. In fact, this waterfall here is double-sided, and the other side leads under the bridge that you see down below. But this was another one. They're both pretty small, but I did challenge myself a little bit with the waterscaping on this island. Now let's go over the bridge and we will go towards the campsite area. And I do not have my campsite in a speed build, but I was super excited to just get this area done. This was technically the last big area on this side of the island that I needed to finish before I could release my DA and my island tour here. So unfortunately there's no speed build for it, so you'll have to either come see it for yourself or see it here in my video. But this is where the campsite lives, and then up top is just more natural items and another tent up there as well. But let's head this way because I do want to show you the land bridge that I made for this island. In fact, I do have a speed build for it. So this is how I transition the natural side with more of the in-town area, which was a giant bridge, and you probably saw it in one of the inspo photos as well. This is another thing I knew I wanted on the island towards the back, and there's no way to access my secret beach actually, which doesn't bother me. I never visited Red anyways on this island, but this is what the bridge looks like. Big land bridge, train tracks, not a lot going on, not an actual train, obviously it's been abandoned, but this is how I did the transition from the natural to inside town. And then if you go up this incline, this is where the residential homes kind of begin, even though they're more so scattered about. And this is where Gaston lives. He has this little farm here. And then a football pitch right in between him and Pashmina's home. She lives right here. And then she's got a little place to eat her salad as well. Hello, Audie. But every villager home except for Gaston's interior has been decorated. So if any of the villagers are home, you can go check out their interiors, but I did do all of the exteriors as well. So there is kind of how the natural side trickles into town. I did do this little rock back here. And I also put my lighthouse on a cliff as well, just to make it seem like it's over by the edge of the sea, like you would at a coastal town. And I challenged myself here as well by bringing the sand kind of further in town or further up onto the land. And I did the same down here also. And this was more so of how I hit that inspo pic that I showed earlier, with the storage sheds being kind of these coastal sheds that you would see near the sea, and that's kind of what I decided to do here. And I just kind of brought it more over onto Audie's side of the island as well. And so here is Audie's home, and she's got kind of a little addition to her home there too. And then she shares this little courtyard with Henry, my BFF / birthday twin. Him and I actually have the same door decoration. I did that on purpose. And then here is kind of where town kind of starts, and this bridge kind of represents that transition as well, because I did keep Audie and Henry kind of more natural over here with the pathing. But then when you get into town, it's definitely more stone and more structured as well. And this is where the port is. There's several little locations of the port. There are the yachts / boats everywhere. I love this little stair custom code here. And in regards to any of the custom codes on my island, I did not make any of them. So check out my card website linked down below in the description. And I have it organized by island, but Solime has its own button that you can click on to see all of the codes there. And I credit all of the creators appropriately as well. Here is another angle of the bridge as well, if you wanted to look at it this way. And I added cars because this is like official streets and things. So it looks like they're going under the bridge as well. And then like a little bike / seating spot here. Now here is Frank's home, and I kept his more cluttered and looking like more fish mongrel type, because he is close to the port here. Almost like he manages that side of the port. And then right across the street from Frank is the museum, and I kept it more of a courtyard type of look. I really wasn't sure what to call this, but I wanted to keep it like it's aged, like you would with seeing homes and buildings in, overseas in Scotland and some of those other areas. So I basically walled it all in and added the fountain in the middle, and there really wasn't much space after that. So I just added hedges and benches in the front and called it a day, but that's kind of what the museum has going. And then right in front of the museum is Benjamin, and he manages the cafe. So if you go inside of his house, if he's here, you can see the cafe from the inside and order some coffee, or you can get some here outside as well. And sit in his little courtyard that he has going right here. I'm really happy with how his turned out. I like the little duo courtyards I did for him. Now, if you don't want coffee and you want something a little stronger, you can visit Timbra, and she can show you how she brews the beer on the island right here at her house. So this is where the beer is brewed, here at the brewery, and I will show you the pub later on in town. Across the street from Benjamin, we've got Tabby's house, and she owns a plant shop, and she looks to be home. You can check out the inside of her shop as well. And then next to her, I have Biff, who I wasn't planning on keeping when he first got on the island. He was one of my starters, but I fell in love with him, and he still fits the island color theme that I have going. And then here's another view if you would like to see more of that port back here. And then here is resident services. And if you walk back there, you get to the little sanded area and those sheds as well. But here is the pub that I mentioned briefly. And you can sit here and get your beer and hang out. But this is basically where Timbra sells her beer. And she also manages this pub as well. Now, I didn't quite show you this part of the beach. Not a lot going on. Like I said, I kept everything kind of simple with the beaches. Further down the street from the pub, you've got Able Sisters. Obviously, they're selling clothes. Maybe they alter clothes. They've got a sewing machine. They've got all the tools that they need here, but they are open. And then here on the beach, Timbra and Frank is thinking of moving. No, you cannot. Timbra is reading her book. So we're just gonna let them be over there, do their thing. More of the sheds. I put more of the bigger style sheds over here, but same inspo with them being on the beach. And then here is Nook's Cranny right here across the street from Able Sisters. You can buy some ice cream, you can buy some snacks or a magazine. They've got it all over here. Now I will walk up and show you that when you wake up, this will be where you see all of these gifts, and I did leave you some tools, a ladder and a vaulting pole if you choose to use them. I just want to make sure nobody gets stuck unnecessarily anywhere. Now, I feel like I've flown through this island, and maybe because I'm not being as chatty as I usually am with my island tours, but we're basically done because here we are back at the entrance, and maybe it's because my beaches aren't covered with a bunch of builds. There's not a lot to really talk about. I just really hope that y'all come and visit my island. Let me know in the comments below what you think. If you are gonna visit, let me know. I really want to see your pictures. Tag me on Instagram, tag me on Twitter. All of my socials are in my card on that website as well when you first get onto the site. But I hope you enjoyed this island tour of Solime, my Scotland-inspired coastal-themed island. Man, that is a mouthful. I will need to figure that out in editing / how I'm posting this video, so it might look a little bit different for you, but I hope you enjoyed it nonetheless. I think as it goes with islands moving forward. I did start a new island. It's in my 1 year on YouTube video. I'll link that down below as well if you want to check it out. But basically I reset a new island and haven't done anything on it. But my plan for that island is to stream while I design it instead of doing speed builds. So be on the lookout for future streams because I kind of just want to chill and hang out with y'all. And due to the theming of that island, it won't be as fun to see speed builds of it, if that makes sense. And I might do another video kind of as an update on my plans for that island, just so y'all know what's going on. But thank y'all so much for watching.